Hello, everyone. I forgot to get this book, and you caught me jumping back to get it there. So welcome. This is Diana Rankin with our weekly time together. And this week we're going to answer a viewer's question again. This is about lessons and lessons we're trying to learn to get rid of the COVID-19. So we're going to see what Phillip has to say about that. I do want to say thank you so much all for coming and for coming back every week. And thank you for your questions. I appreciate them. If you have a question for Phillip, I ask that it's a universal question that will pertain to all viewers, not just a personal question. And we'll try to answer it as well as we can, as best we can. So we're going to get the answer to COVID-19 in our lessons. And also we'll get a message from Phillip. This is one of my books, and each page it's an oracle book with each page being a different wisdom. And we'll get that in a few minutes. I do want to also invite you, if you haven't already, be sure and check out my July predictions. And probably next week or this coming week, I'll be making the predictions for August. I do the monthly predictions separately from our weekly talks. This is the 30th. This is the 30th week of year 2020. And it is July the 19th through the 25th. So here is our question for this week. Here's what the viewer wrote. I'm just going to read what the viewer wrote. It has been said the COVID virus will be around until we learn our lesson. I wonder how many of us have to get it before that happens. Are we held back if some few never get it? I believe some people have already learned, some will learn eventually, but some won't ever learn, at least not in this lifetime. So that is what the viewer wrote, and here's how Phillip responded to that. Let us be clear that we have not said the COVID-19 virus will be around until you, and then quoting, we learn our lesson. We are not one who punishes, but ones who show you the gifts in the situations so that you are able to change behaviors to be more loving. No one being in the human expression is held back by another without first giving their permission to be held back. Each individual evolves as their spirit and human expression align. There is no race to get somewhere. Each must proceed at their own dictation. Learning, growing, evolving. This is all done on an individual level. In essence, there is only one aspect of all life to learn. That is to love. It is not of the romantic love we speak of here, but of the love for all. One can dislike a human's deed, may even dislike a human's expression, but it is needed to love the being. That's not always easy, is it? And Phillip acknowledges that. Goes on to say, this is most difficult to understand and even more difficult for humans to experience and practice. They are unable to separate the spiritual being from the human being, thus seeing everyone as separate rather than seeing everyone as separate expressions of the one. We see people as separate beings rather than seeing everyone as separate expressions of the one. Do you dislike your left arm and call it names and feel it is beneath you because it acts independently of your right arm, even though both arms are of the same body? Are there hierarchies of learning to love? Of course, but an old soul who has truly learned to love does not condemn the new soul for not yet having the opportunities of experience, just as the grandparent does not condemn the grandchild for the knowledge not yet obtained. Instead, the grandparent gently teaches the grandchild. Should not an old soul do the same with newer souls? Let us not judge the other. Let us hold the hand of the other and fill our hearts with love for them. In this way, we each grow with love, and that is what changes the world. The shift that is taking place in the world is the energy of love rising. It begins with one and spreads. My friends, that is a pretty powerful message this week. So I thank the person for asking the question. And Mrs. D, thank you for coming and speaking with us today. It is not easy times that we're living in. I am not going to say these are easy times. And I'm not going to say we don't hold the other person responsible. And welcome, Lori. Glad to have you here. We do hold the other person responsible, but we don't do so out of anger or meanness. We don't condemn. We condemn the act, but not the person. So we have to be able to separate the person from the act. That's the big difference. That's how we learn to love. We don't say, hey, you're wrong, come on, get with it. We say, let's do this instead. And we may have to point out what someone is doing wrong. I'm a mask wearer, for example, and I think everybody should be wearing masks. In the US, I'm in Ohio, we have a serious problem with the COVID-19 because people don't want to wear masks. That's one of the ways that have been proven to cut down on the spreading of the disease. We're Americans. We want what we want when we want it, and we're impatient. So, my friends, what's going to happen is going to happen. We're not here for easy times, but I will say we all signed up for it. And I want to also say, I know we forgot to read the small print. I recognize I didn't read the small print. And a good friend of mine tells me, hey, when we come back the next time, remind me to read the small print. Let's get our message from Phillip, shall we? And by the way, yes, all of my books are available that are still in print on Amazon.com. And also, if you want a private consultation with me, how to reach me is below. So please give me a call. All right. Now we just flip through there. I've got a page. Now think left page or right page. I'm thinking left page. If you thought left page, your intuition is right in tune with mine. If you thought right page, that's also because I always read both. And if you thought right page, that is a message for you. So listen to both. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how our messages go right along with the bigger message that Phillip has answered whatever question we've asked. And here's our message. When you dismiss another, you dismiss a part of yourself. When you dismiss another, you dismiss a part of yourself. It is so easy to condemn in our world today. Instead of condemning, let us stop and let us look and let us say, let us not do it that way. Let us do it this way, because this way is more loving. Love is a powerful, active verb. Get out there and add love to the world today. It might be as simple as smiling at someone. And believe me, our eyes can smile. When somebody's got a mask on, I can tell if they're smiling. Two ways. One, I can see their eyes, but I can also feel their energy smiling at me. And that feels wonderful. So let us do that. Let us get out there and smile today and add love to our world. Believe me, the world needs our smiles because we're in for some rough times. We're not over them yet. Okay, on the right side, it says, when you are lonely, you have been given the opportunity to better know the one who lives within you. I'm going to read that again. When you are lonely, you have been given the opportunity to come to better know the one who lives within you. In this time of COVID, yeah, we're having a lot of time alone, and that's okay. It's hard for some people. I recognize that. But this is the time to look inward, my friends. So our message this week is when you dismiss another, you dismiss a part of yourself. I want to thank all of you. By the way, I want to thank you for the prayers that you've all sent. Hello, Judith. So good to see you. And I want to say thank you for all the prayers. My shoulder break is healing. I still don't have the full mobility or the soul strength, and you can probably see that the muscle here is still bruised, even though the break was up here. But we're healing, and we're doing pretty well. So we're grateful for all of you. Daisy's hanging in there, and we can't let her on the wooden floors these days, but she gets out in the meadow on the grass and she runs. So she is confined to the carpeted area right now. So we thank you for your prayers. Continue, please, to hold our world in love. It is so needed right now and so necessary. And hold those world leaders in love. You know, years ago, one of my teachers said, Jean Houston, said, this is the time that the feminine energy will rise. The feminine energy is rising. That feminine energy is love. And not everybody wants the feminine energy to rise. So we can do this. We can do this. Every one of us is here for a reason. Find your reason. And under it, you'll find it's love. I love you, my friends. Thank you, Mrs. D and Lori and Judith and all of you for coming today to say hello to me. I so appreciate it. Leave your comments below. It takes a few minutes. Facebook's changed everything, so it takes a few minutes to get this one, even though it's live, back in. I just want to read. Lori just said, I work in frontline healthcare, and it's been eye-opening what this lockdown has done to the human psyche. And Judith has said, oh my goodness, I was feeling lonely today. Well, Judith, we're sending both of you extra hugs. Thank you. And Mrs. D, you said, gosh, I feel that way too. It has extended and even trumped the focus of what needs light. Yes, we have to send light that way. And remember, the human is human. Humans make errors. It's the spirit that we love. Just as the left hand is going to work differently than the right, they're both part of the whole body. And it's that whole body that we love. We may not like what this left hand's doing, but let's continue to love. I love you, my friends. Thank you for receiving that love. Thank you for loving me and all of us here. Until next week, and possibly I'll try to get the August predictions out this week. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Don't let what we're going through get you down. You can't afford it. We're all going to have down days or down times or down moments, and there are times we may have to stop and breathe. Reach out to a friend when that happens. Reach out to someone who loves you and someone you love, and be there for each other. I love you. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to just say goodbye one more time and end. Bye.